It's not very often you hear of someone who enlists for service in the United States Army and then makes a return to playing college hockey. But for Providence's Charles Lupolo, he did just that.
Said everything kind of just aligned here at UP for me to have an opportunity to play, and we were kind of in the right family situation where I had some time, and I thought, why not? You don't get these chances very often.
Prior to wearing the Argo hockey sweater for the past near 3 seasons, Charles Lupolo was serving in the United States Army for about 4 years, something he said had always been a dream of his to do since he was a kid.
In high school, my parents kind of talked me out of going right away. I originally was considering joining right out of high school, but it was something I always wanted to do, and I just kind of decided to go for it one day and haven't looked back since.
During his service, he said he spent a lot of time overseas in Europe, traveling to places a person might not normally see in their lives.
So I was in Germany for a while, saw most of Europe and everything, got to see places in the world I never thought I'd be able to see, and it kind of took me to places the world people don't necessarily travel to. I went to some areas definitely over in Europe where they don't have kind of the luxuries we have here.
Before enlisting, he started out playing college hockey at Minnesota State Mankato, although he said he didn't ever think he would make a return to the sport.
Coming back, my first game for UP was my first competitive game in probably 7 or 8 years. So it had been a while, and I was feeling it at first.
After Lupolo finished his service, him and his wife, who he said currently is active duty in the Air Force, made a move to Great Falls for that reason in 2021. Lupolo then said he used veteran benefits to enroll at University of Providence, where the hockey team was in need of players.
And through that, I kind of naturally drifted towards the hockey guys. They were in need of players, and I just kind of came out for the team and kind of stuck with it for the last about 3 years now.
He said out the gates it was a tough adjustment making a return, but his confidence was boosted thanks to his time in the Army, which helps with playing hockey.
They instill in you to be confident in yourself, and that's something that can definitely translate to the ice. And then just keeping in shape and stuff. Even since leaving the Army, physical fitness is something I take seriously, which obviously helps in the game of hockey.
And now Lupolo is wrapping up his time at Providence as he expects to graduate this spring. He said he hopes he can stay involved with hockey afterwards in some way.
Whether it's coaching the youth levels or something like that. I previously coached a youth team here at Great Falls. So I'd like to stay involved with hockey.
Lupolo and the Argos have 4 more regular season games left to play as they aim at another appearance in the ACHA Division II National Tournament. In Great Falls, Will Charlton, MTN Sports.
For the last 27 years here at Great Falls High, cross country has had one man in charge, and he recently retired. That's Bob Stingley. These trophies right here, he's been a big part of it.
From a runner at Great Falls High to a cross-country and track coaching tenure of 27 years, Bob Stingley announced his retirement last Friday, January 31st.
I guess a long time when you look at the whole thing of it. It went pretty fast, I'll tell you that. Probably kind of the neatest part is between track and cross-country both, I got to coach both my kids, so that was fun, daughter and son both.
Stingley started out with the Bison as a student teacher looking to just help out with the program in which he ran for. And that was the segue into how he got into coaching long term, he said.
And the year I student taught, that was kind of, I think I want to do this for a while. I took over for my old coach, so I worked a couple of years. I worked like 4 years with him, and then switched over in '98, took over a head coach, and kind of went from there. And we had some pretty good success right away. Our girls team took state in 2000, and that was pretty neat group of girls there.
Like Stingley mentioned, his girls team won a cross-country state championship very early into his tenure, setting a standard. Although he said it took a little longer for the boys to really get gears turning, but that was until just last year when Stingley led the guys to the title.
When they announced Bozeman in second place, our crew just went crazy. The guys are crying, the girls are crying. I was just laughing because I knew what was up.
He said throughout it all that both the girls and boys teams have been incredibly supportive of one another, even if the other doesn't have the same success.
So whichever team is doing better, the other bunch is just behind them and cheering them on as much as they can. Because like last year, the girls were there, they're crying, and it was fun.
But how does one become a coach like Stingley was? And how does he lead his team to the success it had? He gave a jokingly good answer.
If they have a bad race, man, I don't talk to them about their bad race. I'm just because they are beating themselves up way more than I'd ever want to. So it's I guess I'm like the nice old grandpa or whatever now. Yeah, I've kind of gotten to that age. Yeah.
And of course, when you spend so much time of your life at a place, you develop a connection with it. Stingley showed the emotion of what Great Falls High meant to him.
I graduated from here in '77. some of the guys that are up on, now I'm going to cry. Some of the guys that are up like on our banners and in here, they've been my best friends forever.
And he said that to encapsulate it all, he signed his retirement letter in the only fitting way.
Once a Bison, always a Bison. That is so true. Once you leave here, you never really leave here.
Congratulations to Bob Stingley on 27 impressive and successful years at Great Falls High. Will Charlton, MTN Sports.
The Providence Argos of course compete at the NAI level, but sometimes wrestling tournaments pins them up against NCAA competition. And women's wrestler Erin Hikiji accomplished something at the last tournament where calling it impressive would be an understatement.
I'm just really proud of my performance, so. Yeah.
And for good reason, as on December 15th at the North Central College Invitational, one of the bigger women's wrestling tournaments in the country, Erin Hikiji took home the individual title in weight class 103. Even more impressive, she won the championship against the weight class's top-ranked NCAA wrestler Breanne Murphy from the University of Iowa. Hikiji said she was really excited to be on that stage.
I really didn't know how the match was going to go. I mean, I've never wrestled this girl before, so I didn't really know what I'd be going up against.
She said about 30 seconds in, she felt she could pull off the victory.
I had already made it to the finals. I kind of had already thought to myself, it's one more match. I mean, what is there to lose? She's NCAA. It's not going to affect my ranking no matter how I do, so I might as well just go out there and show out, do my best.
Her head coach, Matt Atwood, said it was awesome to see.
There was a lot of people around for the finals, us versus Iowa, so Iowa's all there, we're all there, everybody else in the country kind of wants to see the Iowa girl fall, so it was cool to see Erin dominate.
But Hikiji, who has fallen just short of an individual NAI national championship the last 2 years, said that while it's an accomplishment she won't forget, she has to keep putting her best foot forward.
I've really got to bask in the accomplishment, but just have to keep moving forward because there's always someone else who's trying to be number one, and there's always someone trying to take my spot. So.
Although, the win over Murphy was a big personal confidence boost, as Hikiji said.
It tells me, you can do this. Beating someone who's been to, these world team trials, it's you can do these college nationals. You can hang. You can do this.
And Atwood said he knows Hikiji can go out there with the best there is.
She'll tell you, too, the national tournament hurt last year, so the motivation that she put in over the summer and throughout this year, she's on fire. She's ready for reshots.
Hikiji and the Providence women's wrestling team next heads to Cedar Falls, Iowa for the NAI's National Duels January 10th and 11th. In Great Falls, Will Charlton, MTN Sports.
In the modern world of college sports, transfer players come about all the time. But in the case of Argo men's basketball player Dylan Hushaw, his path to Providence isn't one you hear of very often.
Before he was suiting up in Argo blue and green, Dylan Hushaw was teaching physical education back in his home state of Nevada.
It was a lot, just trying to go from teacher mode to college basketball player mode. It was a lot, but I got it done. I found time to do what I had to do, and I think it's been good so far.
The Las Vegas native spent time at Miles City Community College and University of Minnesota Crookston prior to Providence, and said he thought he was done with competitive basketball.
I went back home. I graduated college, I found a full-time job, and I was like, you know what, I'll play basketball in my free time, and that's all I expected. I didn't really think I had time left to play. I didn't think an opportunity would come about.
That was until around Christmas time in 2023 when he said traction started to build with Providence.
It was crazy. It was a really quick turnaround. From December to February, I was like, oh no, this could be a possibility. I better get ready. And then February to May, it was all in my mind, and we finally made it official, and I just got right to it.
But the issue, as Hushaw said, was finding the time to get back into basketball shape with the responsibilities he had.
So while I was a teacher, I was playing 1 to 2 times a week, maybe, in a men's league. So I was not working out on my own. I wasn't really running on my own. I was going to lift weights, but I wasn't actively trying to gain. I was just trying to maintain what I had.
He said even after knowing he'd be going to play for the Argos, it was still difficult finding the necessary time. That was until the school year concluded.
Even February to May, it was still tough because I was working a lot, so it was still 1 to 2 times a week. But as soon as May hit, it was 2 times a day. 2 times a day I was playing basketball, and then I was also running on top of that.
But Hushaw said that in a sense, teaching physical education helped him stay in a mindset fit for basketball.
Because I was already kind of in go mode every day, just trying to get these kids to do things. And so that flip of the switch never had to get turned off. It was always on, and I could just transition into getting ready for things.
And so far, Hushaw said it's been a great year being at Providence.
I was already completely flipped my mindset.
you know, I got to start working and I got to worry about other things. And then, boom, it came and we're here and I'm having a great year so far. I love it.
Hawkshaw and the Argos sit at 4-7 so far this season, with the next game being December 28th against Dickinson State. In Great Falls, Will Charlton, MTN Sports.